have a refresher of our topics in steel design. So first, it is important that we recall all the topics in steel design. Okay, so for our first problem, for the bolted tension member shown, which of the following most nearly gives the design strength of the tension member if yielding on gross area governs? So this is similar with the questions in board exam. So usually the examiner indicates the limit state that you are using in order to solve the problem. So let us recall. So this is the code reference, NSCP page 551. So it is also similar with AISC, which is the main source of NSCP. So the equation in determining the yielding on gross area is P sub n equals F sub y times A sub g. So we basically multiply F sub y by the gross area of the tension member. So that is 582,800 Newton. So we divide it by 1,000 to obtain the answer in kilonewton. So this is the nominal strength. So to get the design strength or the LRFD strength, we need to multiply this by the resistance factor phi, which is 0.9 for yielding on gross area. So 0.9 times 582.8. So that is 524.52 kilonewton. Okay, and that is letter A. For the bolted tension member shown, which of the following most nearly gives the Sherlock factor? We have a reference or table where this will come from, and in determining the Sherlock factor of this case, we will use case 2, and the formula for the Sherlock factor is Q equals 1 minus X bar over L. But there's a possibility that in the board exam, this will be given. The statement will be like, use a Sherlock factor of 0.85. X bar is the centroidal distance of the tension member towards the interface of the connection. So that is 34.8. So that is X bar. It is given in the section properties of the tension member. And then L is the length of the connection. Basically, that is the distance between the extreme bolts in the line. So that is from this bolt to this bolt. Okay, and the distance is 3 times 75. Okay, so that is 0.845333. And then for angles, we also have another case applicable for angles, and that is case 8A. For case 8A, the Sherlock factor is given explicitly as 0.8 for tension members that are bolted with 4 or more fasteners per line in the direction of the loading. We can see we have 4 bolts in the line, so therefore the Sherlock factor is 0.8. So since we have 2 Sherlock factors given, according to the code, the larger value is permitted to be used. So in this case, comparing 0.84 versus 0.8, so we will use the larger between the two, which is 0.845. Okay? And so by the way, this is the table that is the source of the Sherlock factor. So I hope you recall this one, no? So there's a possibility if ipapakompute ng examiner yung Sherlock factor sa board exam, syempre given to, no? And dapat marunong tayong magbasa ng description para ma-identify natin kung saan tayo belong dito. In this case, case 2 tayo kasi all tension members except phase and HSS where the tension load is transmitted to some but not all of the cross-sectional elements, no? So case 2 tayo. And then yung case 8, ayan, single angles. So dun tayo sa 8A yung una kasi we have 4 or more fasteners per line in the direction of loading. Kaya 0.8 yung value ng ating Sherlock factor using case 8A. Pero syempre, ang mag-govern is yung larger value. Saan naka-state yun? Ayan, sabi dyan, no? If U is calculated per case 2, the larger value is permitted to be used. Gagamitin natin yung case 2, no? Ayan, okay? So, meron na tayong Sherlock factor, then let us now compute the net area. This is the standard way of determining the net area. Based dun sa table, kukunin natin yung nominal hole dimension. In this case, Kung ang bolt natin is M20, ibig sabihin ng M20 is the bolt diameter, no? So it corresponds to a 20 millimeter bolt diameter. And then ang kanyang standard hole dimension is 22. Although it is not indicated in the problem that we have a standard hole, ito lagi yung default kapag walang sinabi, no? Aside from getting the nominal hole dimension from the table, meron pa tayong additional plus 2 kapag nagko-compute tayo ng net area. So ganito yung nakalagay sa recent code natin na magpa-plus 2 tayo sa nominal hole dimension whenever we are determining the net area for tension and shear, because kaya tayo nag-add ng 2 mm kasi once na ma-punch yung bolt dun sa ating member, so magkakaroon ka ng holes, yung paligid ng bolt is somehow nagiging damage. Kung nagiging damage yung paligid ng bolt, so somehow it is not effective in resisting the force. Kaya instead na we are using the nominal hole dimension, dinadagdagan pa natin ng 2 mm kasi hindi nagiging effective yung gilid, no? Kaya, in determining the net area, we have 2,350 minus 1 times 22 plus 2 times 9.53. So, we just subtract the area of the hole from the gross area. So, bakit 1? Because we are considering the net area on this path, no, na merong isang hole. Kaya minus 1 area of the hole. So that is 2121.28. So this is the standard. So meaning based on code. Usually in the board exam, ini-indicate na ng examiner kung ano yung hole diameter na gagamitin. No? So halimbawa, sinabi niya, use a hole diameter of 24 mm. So gagamitin mo na yung 24 mm. No? Especially kung hindi given itong nominal hole dimension na table at hindi rin sinabi na magpa-plus 2 mm. So usually, binibigay na lang niya yung hole dimension. So yun yung gagamitin natin, no? Ayan. So ang ginamit natin dito is yung standard process, pero kung ipaparallel ka to sa possible problem sa board exam, ganito yung statement ng examiner, no? So at the end of the problem, meron siya nakalagay na the hole diameter is 24 mm. So instead of 22 plus 2, we will just use the whole diameter of 24 mm. Or, there's also one time na ang ginawa niya, nilagay niya yung formula for the whole diameter, no? Consider a whole diameter of d plus 3, mga ganon, no? Okay, but in this case, we have shown the standard process of determining the net area. Okay, so that is 2121.28. So this is the net area. Ang question is effective net area. So pag sinabing effective net area, yun yung AE. Kaya ita-times mo pa yung net area ng U. So 2121 times the shear lag factor. So that is 1793.188693 mm squared. And that is letter D. So after that, we can already determine the allowable strength for the fracture on net area. We just determine the nominal strength, so that is Fu times AE. So we will obtain 717,275.4773 Newton. After getting the nominal strength, 717, so we divide this by the factor of safety for tensile rupture or fracture on net area. So that is 358.63 kilonewton. Okay? And that is letter A. Sige, next. For the welded tension member shown, which of the following most nearly gives the shear lag factor? This will fall under case 2. But in determining the L, as you can see, magkaiba kasi yung length ng weld along the longitudinal direction natin. No? Dito 150, dito 100. So in determining the L, we should get the average of 150 and 100. Okay? So we just get the sum, 150 plus 100 over 2. Ayan, so 125. And therefore, we can now compute the shear lag factor, 1 minus x bar over L. So that is 1 minus 34.8 over 125. So the shear lag factor is 0.7216. Okay, so that falls under case 2, no? Case 2 pa din. Pero nag-iba lang from bolts naging welds. So after that, we can now determine the effective area of the tension member. So AN equals AG. Bakit kaya AN equals AG? So kapag welds ang ginamit in connecting the members, so syempre equal lang ang net area sa gross area kasi wala tayong bolts, so wala tayong holes na ima-minus sa net area. kapag welded connections, AN is equal to A sub G. So therefore, we can now compute the A sub E. So we just multiply yung nakuha nating shear log factor 7216 dun sa ating gross area. And that is 1695.76. And that is letter A. Then, since we already have the effective area, we can now determine the nominal strength based on fracture on that area. So that is FU times AE. Tinimes lang natin yung ating AE sa ating F sub U. And we obtain 678,304 Newton. So divided by 1,000, we will obtain 678.304 kilonewton. Then, after that, so since LRFD yung pinapakompute, so tatimes lang natin to na resistance factor for tensile rupture or fracture of that area. So that is 508.728 kilonewton. Okay? That is letter C. Okay, next. For the welded tension member shown, which of the following most nearly gives the allowable strength of the tension member if yielding on gross area governed? So, same problem, but we have a different cross-section. We have a PL 10 by 125. So, by this time, so we should know how to determine the dimensions based on the name of the section. If we see this kind of name, no, PL, ibig sabihin yan, the tension member is a rectangular plate na may dimension na thickness tsaka width. So, yung mga numbers na makikita nyo dun sa pangalan ng plate, yan yung mga dimensions ng plate. So, the first number corresponds to the thickness, and then the second number corresponds to the width of the plate. So, therefore, in determining the gross area, we just multiply the thickness by the width, so 10 by 125, and then times natin ang Fy, which is 248. So, 248 times 10 times 125. So, we have 310,000. Okay? In kilonewton, that is 310 kilonewton. So, this is the nominal strength. To compute for the allowable strength, we have to divide this by the factor of safety, which is 1.67. So, therefore, we have 185.63 kilonewton. And that is letter D. Next. Each of the following most nearly gives the allowable strength of the tension member if fracture on net area governs. Okay? For welded connection, so AN equals A sub G. So P sub N equals F sub U times A sub E. Again, we have to compute for the shear lag factor, no? Kasi kailangan natin yan in determining the A sub E. Pero, this is a plate, no? For plates that are welded longitudinally and transversely, so ang shear lag factor natin is 1.0, no, kapag plates. So therefore, we can now determine the nominal strength. So that is simply the gross area. Wala tayong ima-minus na holes kasi welds. Times lang natin to na F sub U. So therefore, our nominal strength is 500,000. And then, to get the allowable strength, we just divide this by the factor of safety for tensile rupture, which is 250,000. Okay? So the answer is 250 kilonewton. Okay? Next. If the unfactored dead load of the tension member is 88 kilonewton, which of the following most nearly gives the service live load that can be carried by the tension member? Okay? In determining the demand that can be applied dun sa ating member, so dapat ma-compare muna natin yung demand sa capacity, no? So in this case, tapos na natin ma-determine yung capacity, 185. Take note, ito yung na-compute natin previously. Ito yung 185 na na-compute natin previously, yung based on the yielding on gross area. So bakit yung 185 yung ginamit natin, no? Kasi, di ba, nag-compute ka ng based on yielding, nag-compute ka rin ng based on fracture on net area. So, hindi naman given yung thickness ng gasket plate. So, meaning, hindi na pinapakompute sa atin ng block shear. So, i-compare mo 185 versus 250. So, ang mas mababa is 185. So, ibig sabihin, yun yung magdedetermine ng kanyang capacity. Kaya, ang capacity na kinonsider natin is yung 185 instead of 250. So, ang service load combination natin kapag ASD is simply D plus L. So for a safe design, dapat mas mataas ang capacity sa demand. Okay? So ang unfactored dead load daw is 88. So substitute lang natin yan. So therefore, makukuha mo na yung live load na pwedeng i-apply. That is 97.6 kilonewton. And that is letter B. Next. This is an example of a board exam problem. No? Kung makikita nyo, the diameter of the hose is 22 mm. Binigay na yung diameter ng hole. No? So we have to use that. So ang tinatanong is critical net area. For this one, we have different net areas to be considered. Kanina, isang net area lang yung kino-consider natin kasi hindi naman staggered yung holes natin. No? Pantay-pantay lang sila. But this time, we have to consider all possible paths. So i-consider muna natin yung path ABC. So, sa path ABC, meaning, ina-assume natin na dyan mapupunit yung ating tension member. So, meron lang tayong isang hole dyan. So, in determining the net area, let us subtract the area of the hole. So, that is 2330 minus 1 times 22 times 9.53. Yeah. So, ito yung sinasabi ko na pag sinabi ng examiner kung ano yung diameter ng hole, we have to use that. No need na nalagyan ng plus 2. Okay? Pero actually, kung lalagyan mo siya ng plus 2, sobrang liit lang nung difference. So, possibly, pwede ka pa rin maka-arrive dun sa answer na malapit sa choices. So, we only have one hole. So, 2330. Bawasan natin ng isang hole. By the way, 9.53 is the thickness of the angle. Given din siya sa problem natin. So, therefore, that is 2120.34. Okay, next. Hindi pa tayo tapos since we have another failure path. So this time, let us consider the area along path ABDE. So, yung may zigzag pattern. So ABDE. Okay? So along ABDE, meron tayong staggered portion. So we have to consider the effect of staggered holes. So ngayon, dalawang holes na yung dinaanan. So ibig sabihin, AG minus area of the holes. Dalawa na yung area ng holes that we have to consider. So minus 2 times 22 times 9.53. Then, we have to add the effect of staggered holes. So mag-add tayo ng S squared over 4G times thickness. So, let us solve. As you can see in the problem, 3 at 40. So, ibig sabihin, from this bolt to this bolt, ang S is 40. From this one to this one, ang S is 40. So, from this one to this one, ang S is 40. So, ang pitch natin ay 40 and then ang gauge is 75. Kaya ang S squared over 4G natin, 40 squared over 4, 75. Okay? Times natin yan ng thickness. So, that is 1961. And that is letter C. Okay, so bakit si 1961 ang pinili natin? No? In determining the critical net area, we choose the smallest among all the net areas. So comparing 2120 versus 1961, so syempre mas mababa si 1961. So yan yung magiging sagot natin, no? For the critical net area. Next. Which of the following most nearly gives the effective net area? So in determining the effective net area, again, we just have to get the shear lag factor and multiply it by the computed net area. So balik lang tayo sa code natin. So we will fall again under case 2 wherein our formula is 1 minus x bar over L. So ang L na i-consider natin is yung distance between the bolts. So from this bolt to this bolt, we have 2 times 40, and from this one to this one, we have 240. So actually, there are authors yung kino-consider nilang bolt, no? Ito, saka ito. So just in case na hindi nyo makita sa choices kapag gamit itong distance between these bolts, itry nyo itong 3 times 40, no? Meaning, ang kinuhang distance is from this bolt up to this bolt, no? Pero ang standard and the correct way is extreme bolts in a line lang. So, kung itong dalawang bolts yung nasa line, so dapat yung distance nila yung kukunin mo. So, ito naman yung bolts na nasa line na to. So, ang distance from this bolt to this bolt is also 2 times 40. Okay, so for the case na sa isang line, mas maraming bolt, halimbawa ito. For this case, ang i-consider nyo na L is yung distance sa mas maraming bolts. No? Yan. So, in this case, ito yung gagamitin yung L. 23.7, that is the distance from the centroid up to the plane of connection. Ayan. So, using case 2, so makukuha natin shear lag factor is 0.70375. Okay? Using case 8B with 2 or 3 fasteners per line in the direction of loading. So, kapag case 8B, ang U daw is 0.6. Okay? So, meron kang dalawang shear lag factor. Again, sabi natin, the larger value is permitted to be used. So, ang gagamitan is yung larger, which is 0.70. So, i-times lang natin yan dun sa net area na na-compute natin previously. So, 0.70375 times natin dun sa na-compute nating net area na 1961. That is 1,380. Okay? And that is letter B. Which of the following most nearly gives the design strength if the fracture on net area governs? So, we are asked to solve for the design strength. So, yung na-compute nating, magko-compute tayo ng nominal strength, no? So, yung na-compute nating effective net area before, ta-times lang natin yan ng F sub U. So, yung 1,380, ta-times natin sa 400. So, we have, so 552, 164.168 Newton. Okay, so after that, we can now multiply this by the resistance factor for fracture on net area, and that is 0.75. So we have 414 kilonewton. Okay. Next, the channel and the 9.53 millimeter thick gusset plate are connected as shown. So which of the following most clearly gives the block shear strength of the gusset plate? Okay, so in determining the block shear strength, so in-identify kung saan tayo magko-compute ng block shear strength sa gusset plate daw. So meaning, ang i-analyze mo is yung gusset plate. So ito yung block shear na i-consider natin kapag gusset plate, no? Ayan. Kasi meron ditong side ng gusset plate, no? So, yan yung block shear natin para sa gusset plate. Okay? So, determining the block shear strength, ayan, no? Ito yung mapupunit na part. So, kumbaga, pag hinila mo yung channel, itong part ng gusset plate sasama, no? Okay, so, paano natin ko-compute yan? So, first, compute muna natin yung tatlong area na kailangan. So, that is AGV. AGV is the gross shear area. So, ito yon. So, ang gross shear area is simply a rectangle. So, yung 140, ita-times lang natin yan ang thickness ng gusset plate, which is 9.53, no? Ang thickness ng gusset plate. Ayan. Kaya, 9.53 times 140 times 2 kasi dalawa yung shear area. So, that is 2668.4. Next, compute natin yung net shear area. For the net shear area, so kailangan natin i-minus yung holes, no? As you can see, dito sa pag-compute natin ng net shear area, so ilang holes yung dinaanan ng ating shear area? So we have 1. Ito, complete hole to na nadaanan. So this is 1. Tapos ito, kalahati lang. Kasi hanggang center yung pagsukat natin ng mga distances. So kung hanggang center lang, hindi na masasama yung left half nung itong hole na to. So, yung first half lang yung mako-consider. Kaya all in all, we have 1 hole for this hole and then another 0.5 of hole. So, times 9.53 times 2. So, therefore, our net shear area is 2153.78. For the net tension area, yun naman yung area na under tension, meaning yung perpendicular sa ating load, no? So, kung nandito yung load, kung yung load natin is directed to the right, so ito yung ating tension plane. So, actually, nakamark naman din kung ano yung tension plane at kung ano yung shear plane natin. Okay? So, for the tension plane, so ang dimension niya is 100 and then we have to subtract 1 whole kasi kalahati dito sa taas and then kalahati sa baba. So, nag-minus tayo ng dalawang kalahati ng whole. So, that is equivalent to 1 whole. Kaya, 100 minus 18 times 9.53. So, ito lang yung mahirap na part in determining the block shear. After we have determined the three areas, AGV, ANV, and ANT. we just have to substitute it in our formula for block shear strength. So, dalawa yung formula ng block shear strength natin. First is yung 0.6 FUANB plus UBS FUANT. So, substitute lang natin yan. We have 829,491 Newton. And then the other one, 0.6 FYAGV. Ito lang yung pinagbago nila yung first term. 0.6 FUANV dun sa RN1, sa RN2 is 0.6 FYAGV. For the second term, parehas lang yan. UBS is always 1.0. This is the block shear coefficient, no? It is 1.0 because we are assuming that our tension member is subjected to uniform stress. Let us solve our second block shear strength. So for the second block shear strength, we have 709,641 Newton. And then we compare the two. Of course, the minimum will govern. That is 709.64 kilonewton. So that is the nominal block shear strength. And that is letter C. Okay, so which of the following most nearly gives the nominal block shear strength of the channel? Okay, so for the channel, ito naman yung ating failure kapag block shear sa channel. So take note ha, magkaiba yon, magkaiba ang block shear sa gusset plate at magkaiba ang block shear sa channel. We have to be very careful about that. So yung block shear naman natin sa channel, ito, no? And then the procedure is the same. Parehas lang yung procedure kasi kung makikita nyo yung distance, yung edge distance ng mga bolts is 40. Parehas. Para sa channel, 40. Para sa gusset plate, 40 din. Ang mag-iiba lang is yung sa thickness, no? Sa thickness kasi ng gusset plate, that is 9.53. Sa ating channel naman is kung saan nakakabit yung bolt, no? So this is the web of the channel. Ayan, makikita nyo rin sa cross-section na yung bolt ay nakakabit sa web ng channel. So therefore, ang thickness na gagamitin mo is yung thickness ng web ng channel, which is 5.59. Okay, so compute natin yung gross shear area. That is 1565.2. Next, A and B. So, same procedure pa rin. Nag-minus tayo ng 1.5 ng holes. Ang talaga nag-iba lang kasi is yung thickness na gagamitin natin. So, for the net shear area, we have that is 1263.34. Next, net tension area. So, ganun pa din. Napalitan lang ang thickness. We have that is 458.38 millimeters squared. Okay? So, since we already have the three areas, we can now substitute those areas in the formula of block shear strength. Okay? So, for the first one, 0.6400 times 1263.34. So, plus 1.0400 times 458.38. Sige, so compute natin yan. Okay, so that is 486. Next, for RN2, 0.6 FYAGV plus UBS FUANP. Yeah, so that is 416. Okay, again, we choose the smaller between the two, and that is 416 kilonewton, and that is letter A. Which of the following most nearly give the allowable tensile strength of the connection? The block shear strength govern. Okay, so yung nakuha natin na 416, so syempre, siya yung pipiliin natin kasi mas mababa yung block shear strength ng channel compared sa gusset plate. So kung overall, so ang pipiliin natin is yung pinakamababa. So we just divide it by the factor of safety. So that is 208 kilonewton. Okay, so let us now proceed with compression members. Each of the following most nearly gives gives the critical slenderness ratio of 6.096 meter long column pinned at both ends. So, for the slenderness ratio, that is simply KL over R, no? So, we have to compute the slenderness ratio in both axes, and then the critical slenderness ratio is the larger between the two, no? So, compute lang natin. So, kapag pinned ang both ends ng column, ang K natin is 1.0. So, that is how you determine the K. Pero usually sa board exam, binibigay rin ng examiner ang K. Sinasabi niya explicitly, K equals 0.8, K equals 1.0, K equals 0.5. Sinasabi niya explicitly, no? But of course, we should still know how to determine the K. So for pinned at both ends, ang K natin is 1.0. So solve lang natin yung ating dalawang slenderness ratio. So ang larger slenderness ratio is 79. Therefore, that is the critical slenderness ratio. And that is letter B. Next, which of the following most nearly gives the elastic backlink stress of a 6.096 meter long column pinned at both ends? Okay, so in determining the elastic critical backlink stress, so meron tayong formula niyan, that is F sub E equals pi squared E over KL over R squared. So yung KL over R na gagamitin natin dito is yung larger slenderness ratio. Yung na-compute natin critical slenderness ratio kanina, yung 79, no? Etong formula na to, lagi rin to binibigay na examiner. Although madali lang siya i-memorize, binibigay din niya yan, no? So we just have to substitute. Therefore, our F sub E equals 312.485991. Okay? And that is letter D. Okay. Next, which of the following most nearly gives the allowable unfactored axial compression load on a 6.096 meter long column pin at both ends? Okay. So kapag unfactored axial compression load, so parang tinatanong niya yung service load na pwede nating i-apply sa ating column. So ibig sabihin, ASD yung gagamitin na code. Although, sinabi rin dito use ASD. Pero pag sinabing unfactored axial compression load yung pinapahanap, ibig sabihin ASD yun, no? Ngayon, before we can compute this, dapat makompute muna natin yung nominal strength, no? So in determining the nominal strength, nominal compressive strength of the column, we should divide first yung Fy over Fe, no? Yeah. So divide natin yung Fy sa Fe, that is 1.1040493, no? So ngayon, yung value na to, 1.10, kapag less than siya ng 2.25, based on the code, no? Kapag less than siya ng 2.25, ang formula natin ng FCR is yung 0.658 raised to Fy over Fe times Fy. Okay? Don't worry, given naman itong kompletong code, no, sa board exam. And also, usually, minsan hindi code ang ginagamit niya. Ang binibigay ng examiner is table of stresses, no? Ano ibig sabihin ng table of stresses? So, yung isang question na examiner, after mo ma-determine yung slenderness ratio, ito. After mo ma-compute itong critical slenderness ratio, meron siyang table, no, kung ano yung gagamitin mong allowable stress. Yung allowable stress, nakatapat siya sa mga value ng slenderness ratio. So, ibig sabihin, hahanapin mo lang yung slenderness ratio na na-compute mo sa table. Tapos, titignan mo yung katapat na allowable stress. Pag hindi mo nakita yung ginamit mong slenderness ratio, ibig sabihin, you have to perform linear interpolation lang naman, no? Para ma-compute mo yung allowable stress. But in this case, we use the recent code, no? So, compute natin yung FCR, that is 217. So, after that, yung FCR, ito times lang natin sa gross area, which is also given sa problem, no? So, that is 2673.231663 kilonewton. Okay? So, after that, We just have to divide this by the factor of safety kasi allowable ang tanong or KSD ang pinapagamit na code. So, divide natin yan ng factor of safety. 2673, divide natin sa 1.67. Therefore, we have 16.73 kilonewton. Okay? And that is letter C. Okay, next. Which of the following most nearly gives the critical slenderness ratio? Okay, so same problem. Iba lang yung mga given na properties. So, compute natin, no? So, in this case, given na tayo ng effective length, no? So, kung given ang effective length, actually, dapat wala na tayong K. Sige, burahin ko lang para hindi tayo malito. Yan. So, kapag effective length na yung given, katulad dyan, 762, wala na tayong K na gagamitin. So, ibig sabihin, ang value ng KL mo is yung mismong 7620 nga, no? So, with respect to x-axis, ang KL daw is 7.62. Tapos, with respect to weak axis naman, 3.81. Ayan. So, divide lang natin sa mga regions of gyration, 154, tapos dito 63. KL over R natin with respect to x-axis is 49, and then with respect to y-axis naman is 60. So, therefore, ang ating critical slenderness ratio is the larger slenderness ratio. So, that is 60. Okay? Next, which of the following most nearly gives the design compressive strength of the column? So, after that, we will now compute the compressive strength of the column. So, we start again with F sub E. So, ang formula niya is pi squared E over KL over R squared. So, yung KL over R na gagamitin is yung critical, which is 60.47. So, therefore, makukuha natin yung F sub E. And then, we now compute yung Fy over Fe. So, ang value is 0.63. Kapag less than siya ng 2.25, ibig sabihin, ang formula natin ng FCR na gagamitin is 0.658 raised to Fy over Fe times Fy. Okay? So, FCR is 264. Yung FCR, ita-times lang natin yan ng gross area. So, FCR times the gross area, that is the nominal compressive strength. So, yung gross area, 15,500. Ito yun. Okay? So, this is now the nominal compressive strength. So, if we are asked to determine the design compressive strength, so meaning ang gagamitin natin is LRFD, we have to multiply the computed nominal compressive strength by the resistance factor, which is 0.9 kapag compression members. So, therefore, our design compressive strength is 3682 kilonewton, and that is letter D. So, ang tanong is, which of the following most nearly gives the length L1 so that the compressive strengths of the column with respect to X and Y axis are equal? So, ibig sabihin ng equal na compressive strength is that same dapat yung slenderness ratio natin sa X and Y axis. No? Kasi di ba ang strength ng column is naka-base sa slenderness ratio. No? So, dun sa mga sinob natin previously, una natin lagi sinosolve yung slenderness ratio. Kasi after mo masolve yung slenderness ratio, yung critical slenderness ratio, yun yung nagde-determine ng backlink strength ng column. No? So, dito class, sabi, para same daw ang strength ng X and Y axis, ibig sabihin, pwedeng mag-buckle yung column natin either sa X or either so. Ibig sabihin, same yung kanilang slenderness ratio. So, i-equate natin ngayon yung slenderness ratio ng both axis. Okay? So, para sa X-axis, pin support, no? So, we have 8534.4 divided by 138. And then, sa y-axis naman, let's say KY L1 over RY. So, ang K natin para sa y-axis is still 1.0 kasi ang effect ng braces is considered as spin. So let's say may pin tayo dyan. So ang analysis mo sa y direction is that yung column mo parang nagiging dalawa siya, no? So mula sa isa, naging dalawa na yung column natin kapag y-axis yung ina-analyze natin. So ngayon, considering L1, so ang supports niya ay pin, tapos braces. Take note that the effect of the braces is also pin. So kung pin-pin ang support conditions ng column L1, so ibig sabihin 1.0 din ang K niya. So pwede na natin makompute yung L1. Ayan, so that is 4854. So ibig sabihin yan dapat yung pwesto or location ng braces para parehas lang ang compressive strength mo sa X and sa Y axis. Okay? Ayan. So this time, given naman ang L1, so mahilig ang examiner natin sa ganito, no, na yung figure niya may mga variables, tapos ini-indicate na lang niya yung mga values sa problem para recyclable yung problem, para pwede ulit gamitin in future board exams, no? Ayan. So this time, ang L1 naman daw is 3.048. Ano daw ang critical slenderness ratio ng column? Okay? Sige. So let us solve. For X direction, hindi magbabago, no? So 1.0 times L, 8534.4 over 138. So that is 61. Para sa Y naman, so be careful sa Y direction kasi sa Y direction, di ba magiging dalawang column na siya. Of course, ang i-consider pa rin natin dapat is yung column na may mas mahabang length. Kasi kung ano yung column na may mas mahabang length, yun lagi yung magbibigay sa atin ng mas mataas na slenderness ratio. Kasi nga, di ba, nakadepende ang slenderness ratio sa length. Ayan o, sa formula niya, ang formula niya is KL over R. So, nakadepende siya sa length. So, kung ang L1 ay 3.048 meters, kailangan mo i-compute yung L2. Baka kasi mas mahaba siya compared sa L1. In this case, mas mahaba nga siya kasi ang 8534 minus 3,000, nasa 5,000 to. So, ibig sabihin, mas mahaba yung L2. So, dito magbabakil yung column natin sa Y direction. So, dapat ito yung gamitin natin na length in determining the slenderness ratio about y-axis. Okay? Ayan. So, nakuha na natin yung slenderness ratio with respect to y. That is 69 compared to 61. So, therefore, ang mas critical dyan is, of course, yung mas mahaba, yung mas mataas na slenderness ratio. That is 69.89. No? So, the larger governs. Therefore, the answer is letter C. Number 24. A 7.3 meter long actually loaded column has the bracing and end support conditions as shown. Each of the following most nearly gives the nominal compressive strength of the column. Okay. So, nagpakita lang ako dito, class, ng example ng problem na magkaiba yung nasa figure, no, compared dun sa statement ng problem. So, actually, nangyari na to sa board exam. So, kapag ganito, class, we cannot actually determine by just looking at the problem kung ano yung error, no? Kung ano ba yung gagamitin. Ano ba yung mas tama? Yung nasa problem ba? O yung nasa figure? So, ang pinaka-suggestion ko is, itatry nyo parehas, no? Kasi kapag tinry nyo naman parehas, siyempre, as examiner, yung isa lang din dyan yung tinry niya. So, probably, baka nakalimutan niyang palitan yung isa. Okay? Sige, so isolve natin. Dito sa problem na to, since continuous siya nung previous problem, so actually, ang ginamit dito is yung nasa figure, no? Kaya hindi ko na kinompute yung KL over R sa X kasi alam ko na ang value nun is ito, nasa 61 siya, no? So, yung KL over R na lang sa Y, yung gagamitin natin. No? So, ang L1 is 5.48. So, siguradong mas mahaba yan compared dun sa L2. Kasi kung 8,000 minus 5,000, so nasa siguro around 2.5 millimeters na lang yung L2. So, siguradong mas mahaba si L1. Kaya, siya na yung gagamitin natin in determining the slenderness ratio. Okay? So, i-verify ko lang yung na-compute na value. So, 69.89. Okay? So, after ma-compute yung KL over R, so substitute na natin in determining FE. So, Fy over Fe, that is less than 2.25. Therefore, the formula of FCR to be used is 0.658 raised to Fy over Fe times Fy. So, therefore, FCR is 241. So, we can now determine the nominal compressive strength of the column. Ita times lang natin yan sa gross area. So, that is 4392 kilonewton. Okay? Next. Which of the following most nearly gives the limiting laterally unbraced length for the limit state of yielding? So actually, we're done with compression members, no? So, ano na tayo? Flexural members na tayo. Okay, so, for the limiting laterally unbraced length, tandaan, dalawa lang ang limiting laterally unbraced length, no? Para sa mga limit states natin. First is yung for yielding, that is L sub P. So, sa problem na to, yun yung L sub P. Ayan. So, anong formula natin ng L sub P? Ayan, 1.76 R sub Y is square root of E over Fy. So, actually, given din naman to sa yung formula nito, although maikli, given yan sa board exam. No? Ayan, simple lang, substitute lang natin sa formula. Be careful lang kasi kailangan ang magamit mo is yung Ry. Marami kasing radius of gyration ang pwedeng ibigay, no? Tatlo yan. Radius of gyration with respect to X, radius of gyration with respect to Y, tsaka yung effective radius of gyration. Yung effective radius of gyration, yun yung R sub TS. So be careful lang sa formula na to, ang R sub Y na gagamitin natin is yung R sub Y, yung radius of gyration with respect to Y axis, 26.4. Okay, so that is 1,118 millimeters. So in cm, that is 111.87. Tandaan na, ang tawag dyan, limiting laterally unbraced length for the limit state of yielding. Which of the following most nearly gives the limiting laterally unbraced length for the limit state of inelastic lateral torsional back lift? Yeah. So yan naman yung isa, which is LR. Ito yung mahaba yung formula. So actually, syempre, given yan sa board exam. But the challenge here is kung paano mo siya masosolve, no? So, wag niyo itong pipindutin ng sabay-sabay sa calculator. Kasi mabibitin yung calculator niyo, no? Magkukulang yung characters na pwedeng ma-input. So, ang dapat na gawin, hati-hatiin mo. So, halimbawa, ito munang first part. Pindutin muna natin yan. So, that is 52161. Next, itong JC over SXH. So, J, given yan. J, SX is, ayan, HO 340. And then C. Ano yung C? Be careful sa C. C is 1.0 if I-shape yung ating cross-section. Kapag hindi I-shape, meron siyang formula. Ayan. And then, lastly, itong term na to. So, that is 9.85. Okay? So, substitute natin yan, class. I mean, pwede na natin silang i-input sa calcu kasi maikli na siya. Pag in-input na natin siya sa calcu, ito na siya. No? So therefore, the limiting laterally unbraced length for the limit state of inelastic lateral torsional back lift is this one. That is 3181.93. And that is letter A.